Hello, welcome to Brown Dog Gadgets Live. I am Amanda, the Education Outreach Coordinator here at Brown Dog Gadgets. Ooh, we're working on timing here, huh?
That's a good one. What is that one?
With all the sound effects and the control of the camera behind the camera, we've got Pete.
Here. I'm in DEFCON 1.
Yeah, with the table.
Yeah.
The table's got to go.
Oh yeah, we had a little issue yesterday, so.
We did.
That brick wall behind you was completely destroyed in a flood, but we rebuilt it, repaired it.
We're really skilled here at Brown Dog Gadgets.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Today we are going to talk about our robot Valentine buddy.
Yeah.
But before that, if you have not followed us on our social media platforms, please do so. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and YouTube. Also, if you like what you see here, you can find the products as well as projects on browndoggadgets.com. And if you want to comment or chat with us during the live stream, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, if you have any questions afterwards, you can find us at help@browndoggadgets.com. All right. So we are going to create a version of this guy. Now, yeah, a version.
All right.
We're not going to create the Cupid one.
No one could.
So the back is what we call our robot buddy. It is literally, it's not a cube, but it's close to a cube.
Josh calls it the Chinese takeout box.
It's the Chinese takeout box. Perfect.
Shaped like that.
That you then can put a skin over it. So this one is the Cupid one, but then it's got a motor inside, and then this one has 2 LEDs.
Yeah.
So if we switch to the overhead cam, even though you'll see the top of it, you can see that it vibrates around. And you can see that it literally is just something that is glued onto the front of this robot buddy. Mm-hmm. So we're going to create the robot buddy today. But we are going to do the other part of the Valentine skins template, which is a heart.
Oh.
And this one's going to have a blinking red LED, because why not?
Okay, right.
Before we actually add the skin on, that's going to be one of the last steps, we are going to actually build our robot buddy. So this is printed off on heavier cardstock. That is important. You want to make sure that it can stand up to the circuitry, to the folding, all of that. It's blank on the other side. That way the outside of your robot buddy is blank. You can add whatever you'd like to.
Yeah.
So, and then the template for the Valentine skin comes like this. I cut it. So this was the one that I created here.
Yeah.
And I didn't cut that out because I didn't feel like it. And this is the one that we're going to create today. Cool. All right. So the first thing that you would want to do with your robot buddy is cut it all out. It's actually a pretty easy cut. So we've got our 2 switches. Thanks.
The Foley artist as well.
We have our 2 switches, which we'll use in a minute. This is just to make sure that you don't actually have to access the battery to be able to turn it on and off. These help you have a gap in that circuit or an open circuit until you use those switches and create a closed circuit. So we went ahead, I got this all cut out. The other thing that I did already as well is I scored it. When we fold it up, I want to make it nice and easy to fold. So I took a straight edge ruler and an X-Acto knife and just gently went over all of those lines that we're going to fold on. And then the next thing that we need to do before putting our tape down is we've got 2 little lines here, these 2 little black lines. Those are going to be slits that our switches will go through. So you'll see here, there is a gap. We need to make that gap or that slit on this as well. So I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. I'm going to go along one side of it, and then I'm going to go along the other side and just kind of get those edges out.
It needs to be a wide slit, not just a single kind of slice, right? Because you get the tape through there.
And actually, I didn't make this one wide enough, and when I was forcing it and I ended up bending and pulling the paper, it still works, but just not as pretty. If you make it too wide, there are ways to fix that where you can just kind of wrap a little bit more tape around your switch. So
what's my famous thing? Just add more tape.
Just add more tape.
Add more tape.
So that one's probably a good width. Should be fine. So I'm really going on either side of that black line, making a nice sized slit. It's easier to make it a little bit bigger and have to add more tape than make it too small and you have to adjust. There we go. All right, now we're going to set up our circuits. We've got 2 separate circuits that we're going to build on here. There we go, that's better. The first circuit is actually the motor. So that's separate, it's just right here. And then the other circuit is where we're going to have our LED. Now, the actual template is designed for 2 LEDs. But we're only going to use one. We're going to use a blinking red LED. So I'll change this up a little bit as we go. We are going to use maker tape to build the circuit. Maker tape is a nylon conductive tape. It's really great stuff. It is conductive all the way through. It is far superior to copper foil tape. Copper foil tape can break really easily and then does not conduct. It can give you copper foil cuts. It's just not a fun product to use in the classroom. It is a lot easier to use maker tape. It's just a lot more trouble proof.
I also heard that copper tape causes headaches and dizziness.
Is that right?
If you ingest it, yes.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Also, we've got these great handy dandy holders. If you need to print out your own 3D printable holder, you can actually find the file for printing that out on your own on browndoggadgets.com. We've got the holders for the small rolls, holders for the big rolls, battery holders. You can even make a huge one. Whoa.
Yeah.
Also, if you've never used maker tape before, the other thing you can do is jump over to our website and request a sampler pack. In the sampler pack, we've got 5 meters of maker tape so you can try it out, understand why we think it's so much better than copper foil tape. It's already on a nice handy dandy holder.
Yeah.
And then it's 5 projects in here where you can see kind of our take on paper circuits. If you want to make the robot buddy, you can check out the Origami Circuits Kit. It's got the vibrating motors, blinking LEDs, maker tape, and batteries, all in this one great kit. browndoggadgets.com. All right, we're going to build this bad boy. And I am going to start by actually laying these pathways and having tape underneath and on top of those motor wires, mainly because I think using one piece of tape to go into that slit around to the top and hold down a motor wire just seems cumbersome, so I'm going to do it in 2 different steps. When you're using maker tape, you hold it about 1 centimeter away from the top. Use the pad of your finger to pull down a couple times, and then voila, there it is. There's my scissors.
Amanda, is it lunchtime? Because it sounds like you're making a sandwich.
I am going to.
All right.
Wow. Are you trying to make up for me not having corny jokes like Josh? I think you are.
Sure.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this piece of maker tape. I've got the sticky side facing up right now. I'm going to slide it into that slit. So a little bit of it comes through on the top. It doesn't need to be a lot, but it needs to be enough where it's going to hold. Sometimes I don't put enough through, and then it just kind of pops up on me. I don't love that. So enough where it's going to hold. And then I'm going to pull that piece back so it's tight to the cardstock. So I still have that gap that I built, but I've got the paper, the maker tape running through that gap. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. If I can pick it up. There we go. And you'll see I pressed that down with my finger on the other side. So there is still a gap there. You can see through it. You can see that those 2 pieces of tape are not touching. That is important. All right, now we're going to add our battery and our motor. My first battery is going to be right about here. I'm going to take about 1 inch worth of maker tape and roll it up with the sticky side facing out and put it on top of that pathway. That's what's going to hold my battery in place. And I'm going to have the writing facing up. With the motor, the polarity does not necessarily matter because the only thing that changes is the direction of the rotation, but this bad boy doesn't really have a direction. So it will work either way if you connect red to positive or blue to positive. All right, now we need our motor. Let's see what I've got here.
You need one.
Of course I don't have one.
You want one?
Yes, please.
I'll get one.
I know, I probably have one
Oh.
in all of these random things, but thought I had the motors. So what I'm going to do, the great thing about this motor is it's a peel and stick motor, so I'm just going to peel the backing off and stick it right down to the cardstock, and then attach one wire on top of this pathway here, and the other wire I'm going to stick on with maker tape to the top of the battery. That way that will complete the circuit, and then when the switch is put into that little gap there, it will make the circuit closed and then it will work. Yeah. Thank you very much. There we go. So we'll peel that backing off and stick it down. And you'll notice that technically my wires are backwards from the diagram. Like I said, it doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm going to take just a little bit of tape. We even split that in half.
We got a message from Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Pete's
Yeah,
the
right.
best.
You know, I just saved that from like a month ago.
That sounds right. I think it was even longer ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that one forever, basically.
I think you should. All right, all I'm doing is taping that wire down on top of the other piece of maker tape and then pushing down on that with like my nail to really get a strong connection there. And then I'll take the other wire on top of the battery and I'll do the same thing just to hold it in place, making sure it makes a strong connection with the positive side of the battery. Now, since we have that gap in the circuit, it's not vibrating right now. And before I do anything else, I do want to make sure that it works. I want to test it out. So I'm just going to literally take the top side of my tape and connect it,
It works.
and it works. I don't know if you can hear it vibrating,
I can hear it.
but it is definitely working. So that is functional. So when we make that switch and put it in through that slot, it will connect and be good to go. So now we'll do our big circuit with our LED. I'm going to start on the negative side of my battery.
I always say that I like to make the tape loop about half the diameter of the battery.
So not that big.
Well, I mean, just so it doesn't short out.
Yep.
I mean, I like to say that because I know people won't totally adhere to it, but it, gives
Yep.
them the idea of, oh, if it's too long,
Right.
it'll short it.
Yep. And what he's saying is it will like mushroom up over the sides.
Yeah.
And if it does that, it's going to hit that positive lip as well as the negative side of the battery, and it will short circuit.
Yeah, we like to say the top is positive, the bottom is negative, but really that whole side edge is also positive. So there's just a really thin, difference or barrier, whatever, between the positive and negative.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing with the switch here. I'm putting my maker tape in through that slit, pressing it down on the back side, and pulling it up and over. And that one's going to go to the top of my battery. Kind of on that same note, you'll notice I don't have my maker tape coming right up against the battery. Mm-hmm. It kind of makes a little, almost like a bridge.
ramp.
A ramp, yep. That is so I don't short circuit it. This way, it's not going to come in contact with that. I don't have to worry about it. All right, I'm going to make one nice long path. I'm going to measure this one out.
You're going to measure, cut, peel, and stick.
Like Andy.
Yes.
Andy style.
Very meticulous.
That's exactly what I did. All right. So I'm going to connect this negative pathway all the way to this side. And like I said, I'm not going to do 2 LEDs. So I'm just bringing it over here so I have something to connect to when I do the one blinking LED.
Are you going to use an eye patch for the other eye then?
Nope.
No, just a wing.
It's just a blinking LED in the middle of my heart.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot. That's my trick.
It's not a pirate.
No, that's the trick. If you don't want to use 2 LEDs in a project, you just make a little eye patch.
I love it. All right, let me make sure. Yep, perfect. And then I'm going to pull that tight to make sure it does not connect until I want it to. There we go. So this is my positive pathway. This is my negative pathway. And then I need my blinking red LED. You could just use a regular LED as well. That's completely up to you. I don't know exactly where I want it to be lined up on the front, but I do know where I want it on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke 2 holes in where I want my blinking red LED. And I'm using a safety pin on purpose. You can use a safety pin or a push pin, whatever is going to work for you, but those LED legs are not going to make it through the cardstock. And then I'm going to put those through, just make sure it's in a good place for me. Perfect. And then I'm going to figure out where I want that on the front. I'm going to kind of estimate. I'm going to put 2 holes right about there. That should be fine. And before I connect anything, I'm going to just check it out and see if it's in a good place. Wow, come on. There we go. My bottom path is down there, and it's crooked, so I'm going to fix that. Oh, see? You were too ready for the sound effect, and I messed it up. No. Too crooked for me.
Wow.
I'm just going to slide it up a little bit, too. And you know what? If it is crooked this time, I will just deal.
Hooray.
It's also not taped on, so it should be fine.
We like to use the term jaunty angle instead of crooked.
I could also just kind of glue it in place once I'm ready to.
Do that.
All right. So now on the back, I've got my 2 LED legs. One is slightly longer than the other on the blinking red LED. It's not that much longer. You'll notice though that I don't have it in the direction that's going to be best for my circuit. I have my short LED by my positive path, my long by my negative. So I'm going to turn that around.
You could just bend them the opposite directions too, though.
I could, but I don't want them to accidentally touch each other.
Okay.
I don't want to short circuit out my project because once I've got it all taped together,
It's together.
it's not, I would have to actually like pull it apart and
Yeah.
that becomes a little bit of a hassle. So making sure that's where you want it. There we go. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my legs flat, and I'm going to probably need to move them around a little bit. Since this is the edge of my box and this is an edge that I'm going to fold, I'm just going to bend these just to make sure they're not in the way. And now, look at this, Pete. Another roll gone.
Wow.
I know. How many rolls have you gone through this year?
Not that many. I use the big ones.
True.
I don't know if I've gone through an entire roll in quite a while.
All right, I'm going to tape down this leg. Still doing that same thing I did with the wires, where I'm running my nail along the sides of it. And you know what? I'm even going to put another one here just to make sure. Because like I said, once I close it up, if there's something wrong inside, it takes quite a bit of work to get it open again. And I don't really want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I want to make sure it is secure and good to go right away. And then I'll take another piece of tape and tape down this blinking red LED for my I think that's the short one. Now remember, we do have a gap in the circuit. So right now, it is not on, and it's crooked. Irritating.
Jaunty angle.
Jaunty angle. But if I complete that circuit, that gap, it should light up if I've got everything working correctly. And it does. Perfect. All right. It is intentional that we have the motor and the LED on two different battery or power sources. For some of our other projects that do have both on one, you'll notice that the LED doesn't quite blink consistently. It kind of flickers in and out, and there's not enough power to make things work consistently the way you want them.
And motors require a lot more current, so they're going to take a lot more current than the LED. So the LED kind of suffers because of that power draw.
Yeah. All right, so now, remember I told you I scored all of these lines ahead of time. So I'm just going to fold on all of the dotted lines. And then it's going to make a nice, crisp robot buddy. There we go. Oh, one more. There we go. So now I'm going to take just clear tape and tape this together. You can use just regular Scotch tape. It works. It's great. However, I really like the gift wrap tape because it's clear.
Well, what is gift wrap tape? Isn't the clear tape clear?
It's a little cloudy. Look at it.
And
it doesn't necessarily matter with the white paper.
Okay.
But when you're using a colored project, so colored paper or something that has color to it, you can see the difference.
Okay.
Trust me, Pete.
Oh no, I've never used gift wrap tape. I'm really terrible at gift wrapping, and I usually just use old garbage and like packing tape or some gaff tape or something.
Gaff tape?
Yeah,
That's what you put things
much.
together with?
Yeah.
I like it. All right, so all I'm going to do is go around these sides using not the cloudy stuff. I don't remember what I was making that I think it might have been the dreidel, where it just didn't look as polished as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Because the tape was
Well, that's all colored
showing.
all on the outside, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the tricky part is getting in there. The nice thing with the Cupid version is you put the top on after. You put the the skin on afterwards. Also be careful, make sure that your tape doesn't cover your hole.
Yeah.
Otherwise you won't be able to get your switch in. So I'm just gonna cut a little bit of that back. There we go. You couldn't even see it because it's so clear.
Yeah. Right.
I know.
I thought you were using tape. I don't even see
I
it.
know.
It's
Oh, there's some
insane.
stuck to my finger. There we go.
How can you tell? Can't even see it.
I know. It's like a magic trick. All right. And then the tricky part is making sure you don't mess up the batteries when you close it up. But just making sure you're purposeful on aligning things and it should be fine.
I'm always purposeful,
I believe that.
full of purpose.
And close up the bottom. And then the last thing that we'll need to do is make those switches to make our project work. So we've got that robot buddy that's built. It's got its little Valentine on the front, but it's not going to work until we actually complete those two circuits. So that is what these two rectangles are for. I'm going to fold them in half and then in half again. And I'm only going to put tape on one side of it. So I'm going to wrap around back side and onto the front, but just this half, not this half. That way I can put it in on the other side as for safekeeping, but it won't be activated. All right, so tape on this side, wrapping it around to the front. And we'll do the same with the other. There we go. So now when I insert my switch, it should work. So that one's good.
Missed it.
You did. And then I can put one into the vibration side. And it moves around. If you made that gap too large, we said that that's okay. Put another piece of tape over this one, maybe 1 or 2 pieces, right over the top of the piece that's on there to make this a little bit thicker and bridge that gap. And that should work perfectly. And the last thing that needs to happen, I need to make this not crooked. So I'm going to put a little piece of regular tape under it.
Fun angle.
Nope.
Crooked.
Not happening, Pete.
Ah.
Here we go. So it's got its blinking LED as well as the vibrating motor. Let's see if we can. There you go.
Excellent.
So that is our robot buddy with the Valentine skins. So a couple different options on the way you can build it, depending on what LEDs you may have, depending on what you want to do. Lots of fun options though. Let me stop this before it drives me nuts.
Should I keep this heart around or delete it?
Sure.
Keep it around.
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I was using it for all our Valentine stuff, but
It's true. We
stick around.
do technically still have some after TCA though.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not done.
I guess
We have
it's still
so
in-
many
it's
Valentine
only
projects,
January. I forgot.
We are still in January. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
So reminder, these are the Robot Buddy templates, and then these are just Valentine skins that go over the top. We have a ton of different kinds of skins as well. There's a troll, like a little
There's a
troll doll. Yep. I think I have that one for St.
Okay.
Patrick's Day, all lined up with some nice green hair.
A troll for okay.
Well, it's with like the like leprechaun hat and like yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do the
All right,
leprechaun
cool.
instead. It'll be fine. Either way.
Excellent.
So next week we do not have any live streams. We will be off.
Will.
Oh well, we do not have any planned by moi.
Right.
I will be at TCEA with Josh and David. So if you are at TCEA, come find us. Come say hi. Tell me you watch the live streams, because I'll be honest, no one comments while we're live
37.
streaming, so I don't know that you're there.
37 people right now. It's
Yay!
weird.
Wonderful.
This. No
Even
one-
just say hi. That would be great too. So, quick reminder on these templates. You can download all of these templates for free on browndoggadgets.com. I agree, Pete, copper tape stinks. That's why I didn't use it. If you have any questions, you can email us at help@browndoggadgets.com. And then reminder, if you have not followed us on our social media platforms, please do so. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, and YouTube. We've got lots of fun things in store. We would love for you to join us. That is all I have for you today. I will not see you until later in February, but maybe Pete will make a surprise appearance.
Later in February.
Well, I meant just later, not the
I
first
thought you
week.
meant like the last week of.
No, the second week
Yeah.
in February.
I'll stream something next week.
I'm interested now.
All right, it'll be fun.
What day, Pete?
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Sure, why not? If
All
I'm
right.
here.
We'll see what Pete's doing on Tuesday.
Okay.
Come check it out.
All right.
Otherwise, have a great night.
Yeah.